Today, I am really excited for our guest. We have Carli here, and she is one of my good friends. We were just talking that we met like 10 years ago.
Yep.
She used to teach high fitness at a class that I went to. And she is just an incredible woman because she has survived 2 bouts of cancer. And your story is incredible.
I know.
It is amazing.
If it wasn't my story, I honestly wouldn't believe it. And I'm glad that you know me. And so you know that this is like bizarre and it can only be described as God, honestly. Like, I feel undeserving to be telling this story, but here we are.
Well, I feel like you've helped thousands of people heal, and we want you to help millions of people. And I really think that's why God blessed you and helped you through this. But let's just tell the story. Can we start at the very beginning?
Yes.
Because this is what shocked me when I first heard you had cancer. You were a high fitness instructor living a really healthy life.
Yes.
And so that's what first shocked me. I have so many questions. So let's just start from the beginning.
Yes. Okay. So I, like Carlin said, we have known each other for 10 years because I was a high fitness instructor. I loved fitness. I loved blood sugar stabilization. I got healthier and healthier as the years went on. A lot of it because I would obviously like look at your content and be like, oh, like I should be switching this. And, you know, it's kind of like this process of.
I do remember at the high fitness classes, I'd be like, Carli, maybe you should swap to this.
I know. And I'd be like, Carlin, I'm okay. You just need to help me, you know, because it's so overwhelming in the beginning. And like you get so many different opinions on what's healthy and what's not. And all of them are competing, right? And I do feel like you were the pioneer of healthy ingredients. We really didn't know.
Yeah.
We really didn't. Like you said the other day, you were Maha before Maha existed.
That is true.
You really were. Like, I'm like, oh, I know about that because of Carlin, because of 10 years ago after our high fitness class, and you were talking to me about this study about certain, baby powders and like how they were affecting kids now. Like you were so ahead of your time and you knew your stuff. Like anytime somebody asks me about your page, I'm like, oh, no. She like is a researcher and she's been doing it forever. She's the real deal. So yeah, I would get healthier and healthier, right? Because when 10 years ago, it was like, low fat and it doesn't matter and it's all about calories and it's, and now we know so much more than we did back then. But when I got diagnosed, I was really, really, really interested and fascinated with Dr. Bickman's research, which we both love. Dr. Ben Bickman.
He is amazing.
He's so amazing. So his brother was in my church back in Texas.
Oh,
and
is that how you got connected with him?
Yes. Okay. Literally like knocked on my door, and I swear Ben Bickman saved me from my cancer getting out of control, honestly.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I had a lump and I went to my gynecologist and I had no symptoms, right? And I went to the gynecologist and I was like, hey, I have this lump. When you get a lump, you're supposed to go to your gynecologist. So here I am. And she said, you are too young and you're too healthy to have cancer. Like, you do not have cancer. Get out of here, basically. Totally brushed me off. Didn't put any urgency on me. Yeah. And I was like, okay, great. And she's like, I mean, we could get an ultrasound. And so, like, I'll send you to do that. But, like, you don't, like, she was just so, like, irritated almost that I was there. I was like, okay.
Oh, my gosh.
So in order to go get the ultrasound, you had to, like, go to this completely different building. And, she didn't put any urgency on me. And so I didn't end up scheduling it because I was a brand new twin mom. As moms, we rarely put our health first. We can all, appreciate that. So I was like, oh, whatever. And so I just kind of brushed it off and didn't ever make the ultrasound appointment because of how dismissive she was of me, right?
Interesting.
And so I was like, okay, well, cool. Like, why would I go get an ultrasound if she said, you do not have cancer, sweetheart?
Did you have like a mom instinct, though, that maybe there was more to it, or you just were like, I'm going to trust the doctor?
Yeah, I was just like, okay, cool, right? Because you know me, like I was
healthy,
so healthy, right? Like I was like, there's healthy, and then there was me that was like obsessed with it, and I just loved it in a way that was almost spiritual for me, right? And so, so that happened, and then Dr. Bickman came into my life through his brother. He literally knocked on my door and said, I heard that you're a fitness influencer and my brother and I have this product that we want you to promote and try. And my brother has a whole research lab at BYU dedicated to beating insulin resistance, and he'll do a podcast with you. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fascinating. I'm actually studying insulin resistance right now because I'm so confused about how people can be eating perfectly and they can be gaining weight if they are eating like fruit only. And I knew this from, somebody that I was working with that was doing everything right, and she was gaining weight and she was eating like raw fruit, and that's pretty much it.
Oh boy.
So I know. So I was like, yeah, that sounds great. So I get on the podcast with Dr. Bickman, and he, in our podcast, Carlin, this is like crazy, okay? In our podcast says, blood sugar is linked to everything. It's linked to prostate cancer. It's linked to breast cancer. He says breast cancer in our podcast. I had breast cancer. I did not know it. And I was like, this is so fascinating. So I switch everything from high carb to Dr. Bickman's protocol. And I basically said, okay, this sounds amazing, but what do you actually do? And then I basically followed what he said he personally does in his own life so that he can have stable blood sugar all the time. I also get on a podcast with Dr. Casey Means, who is now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I got to do that from Ben Bickman as well.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing. She put my first glucose monitor on me. And
oh, that's amazing.
It was so cool. And it totally changed my life. Like, I felt incredible because I switched from focusing on, just like calories, and then I focused on real nutrition and blood sugar stabilization.
Okay, I'm curious. So the listeners know his protocol is eating more fats and proteins to help keep your blood glucose more stable, correct?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So basically what I teach people now, and what I started coaching people on when I, again, had cancer and didn't know it, was like what Dr. Bickman actually does. So he intermittent fasts, and then he has a couple meals a day around protein, fiber, and fat together. So he prioritizes protein, he fills in with fat, and then he limits carbs. And so just like having a glucose monitor is so fascinating.
It is fascinating, huh?
Yes.
It's like really fascinating.
Oh my gosh, this is what my body is doing, right? And so I would track my blood sugar, and then I would text him and be like, hey, like my blood sugar's doing this, what should I do? And so I just fell in love with blood sugar stabilization, and I was intermittent fasting, and I was doing all of these things that were naturally preventing cancer growth. And again, I had cancer and did not know it.
So interesting.
So we moved back to Utah from Texas, and my lump had grown and grown and grown and grown. But again, I felt so unstoppable, like with Dr. Bickman's protocol and like implementing it into my life. Like my energy was just amazing. And
just felt healthy and fine.
So healthy, so fine. And I feel like I was paying attention more to ingredients, and I was making sure that I was giving my body big periods of detoxing, like I guess big periods of I'm not going to eat for a minute and let my body clean up. And I was focusing on detoxing as well. And so my lump was growing. And I went to my gynecologist here, and I was like, hey, I went to my gynecologist in Texas. She said that this was nothing to worry about, but what do you think? It's just really weird. Like it's half of my left breast at this time.
Oh my gosh.
Half. So
we're big.
Yes. So we went like from here to like half of my left breast.
Oh, wow.
Rock hard for anybody listening. Rock hard. And I always say it kind of felt like two airheads, like mini airheads stacked on top of each other. That's like how big it was. And that's what it felt like whenever I like pinch it. So very, very weird. And again, I didn't have any side effects because I was really
eating
freaking healthy. Yeah. And eating real food.
Doing the things you should.
Absolutely. Like you would have been very proud of what I was eating at the time.
Well, I was proud of you because I was following you. And so I was like, oh, she's learning all of these things and keeping her blood glucose stable. I was loving it. I followed you.
No, it's like, it's really life-changing when you realize like how your body processes energy, and
it is.
When you feed it real food and then all of a sudden you feel really good.
Imagine that, huh?
Yeah, get rid of all the crap that you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
My gynecologist here, bless his heart, and I love him, and I think that the doctors, I want to be clear, like I think they're doing the best they can. And I don't understand this process, but I went in and I had him feel my lump, and he was like, Carli, you're like the healthiest person I know. You do not have breast cancer.
Shoot.
And
again.
And I was like, okay. I'm like, that's what she said. So I just wanted to make sure that like you agreed.
Wow.
And you know me, you delivered my twins. Like I really like trust you and you know me. And so he's like, we'll just watch it and you're good. And I was like, okay,
Wow.
great. And this podcast is actually very important to me because of this next piece of my story. So I went online and I was scrolling one day and I saw this beautiful picture of somebody that was bald and she was like this. And it was so striking. And I clicked on the picture and it was somebody named Delia Chatwin, and she was documenting her breast cancer journey through social, and she was being really brave. And I went with her. I went to college with her husband, and so that's how I came across this picture. So I clicked on it, and I clicked on her YouTube story from it, and I ended up watching this YouTube. And she is 4 years younger than I am.
Oh, wow.
And she's looks healthy. She's beautiful. And she was going through chemotherapy. And I'm like, so like then all of a sudden it was like something inside of me was like, hey, listen, right?
Oh, your mom instinct.
My
kicked
mom
in.
instinct. And it was like, hey, she's young. She's healthy. The only reason why they're not sending you to get a mammogram right now is because you're young and healthy. She's younger than you and she looks healthy. And so after I saw her video, I was like, and it wasn't like panicked. Like, you know, when you have that like mom instinct, it kind of feels peaceful.
Mhm.
Even though there's a sense of urgency, it's like peaceful as well.
I think I would have freaked out.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it was peaceful for you.
Yeah. Well, I legit was like, it's probably nothing.
It's probably
you know?
nothing. Yeah.
But like maybe I should like be a little more hypervigilant about this because my brother also has cancer. There's cancer in my family. And so I called my gynecologist back. And the moment that I said, hey, can I get a mammogram? They immediately jumped on it. And I want to.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
You had to be a self-advocate for yourself.
Yeah. And I think that might have something to do, again, with the system. And I want to be like very, very, very respectful of doctors and my doctors. Like, I really do think they're doing the best that they can. And they have a ton of people that are like, you know, they're controlling the show and they're kind of the puppets that are trying to do the best that they can, but they have all of these people above them that are making the rules and all the red tape and, you know, all of the policies and everything.
Well, I want to say you have to advocate for yourself and you have to ask the questions.
Yeah, and I didn't know.
Question everything or research it or get a second opinion. It's just one person telling you something.
Totally. And again, to be fair, I was so young and I was so healthy. And I think that their statistics are a little bit outdated now.
Interesting.
I mean, how many people do you know that have gotten cancer within the last couple of years?
And they're young.
They're young. And I think it has something to do with 2020. I don't know. I don't know. It just seems.
There's a lot of reasons, I think.
Yes. I think that super duper toxic.
Yeah. Toxins and energy. Or like
yes.
trauma and things.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I think that there is a wisdom and a consciousness about the body that we're not really paying attention to right now. And it's emotional, right? And like everything is energy, the basic energy unit of the cell, which is exactly what Ben Bickman and Dr. Casey Means said to me on the podcast, right? Like, we have to look at what's going on energetically with the cell through food and also, like we were talking about, through emotions and through eliminating all of the crap that is in our body with toxins, emotions, like people, everything, right? Like, we need to get healthier.
Yep. I totally agree.
Yeah. So this is so funny. Okay. So I have this video right before I get my mammogram because, again, I was like, if you see a picture of me, like, I look like tip top health and in shape.
Like a Sports Illustrated model.
Yes. Like, I was not messing around with my health.
From your high fitness classes.
Thank you. I love you. I'm like, I just loved it. I thought the body was so fascinating that it could grow like 2 babies at the same time and then get a 6-pack. Like, what? I thought it was so cool. I felt like it was like this, you know, like God energy that we could experience through the body. And the body was teaching us that through like.
Oh, I love that.
It was so cool, right? So there's this video of me and it's my 33rd birthday and I'm at the beach and I'm like, this is my 33rd birthday and 33 is my favorite number and this is going to be the best year of my life. And I like posted it.
Oh, wow. Right before you found out.
Right before I found out, like 2 weeks before I get diagnosed.
You had a good mindset going into it.
Seriously, I'm like, God, that was kind of rude. We love you, but that was rude.
Wow.
So I go in to get the mammogram, and I'm, again, like, not thinking anything is even going to come of it because I feel great. And I'm joking around with the tech and, like, oh, here we are. And yeah, I'm so young. And how are you? And, I'm just a friendly person. And then all of a sudden my scan pops up on her screen and her face completely changed and the energy in the room completely changed. And it was like,
So she knew immediately.
yes. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh crap.
Mm.
What's happened? Like, do I have breast cancer? Right? Because of just like, it was all she said was like, this is very concerning. This is very concerning. And she's like, we are sending you to get an ultrasound right now. And we're getting a biopsy right now. And I'm just like, what? And like, so I called my husband, I called my mom and my sister. I'm like, guys, you need to get down to the hospital right now. So they do the ultrasound and the biopsy, and all they said was, this is very concerning. This is very concerning. This is very concerning. And
because they can't classify it or diagnose anything.
No, but like,
yeah,
like, unfortunately for them, like, they are not very good actors.
Yeah.
I was like, it's like we're talking like this, and all of a sudden it's like, this is very concerning. This is very concerning. This is very concerning.
You're like, oh boy.
I'm like, oh crap. So, I got diagnosed 3 days later, with stage 3 breast cancer, and it had gone into my lymph nodes already, and it was like a very severe diagnosis. So, I went almost immediately. I would say, very forcefully pushed into chemotherapy, radiation, double mastectomy, everything. I did all of standard of care. I didn't look to nutrition, and I basically like abandoned everything that I loved and I knew, and I was like, you don't mess around with cancer. You just do what they tell you.
Interesting.
Right?
Which
like,
I think a lot of people do because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid.
Absolutely.
They're the expert, so we're just going to follow exactly what they say.
Yeah. And speaking of motherly instinct, if somebody says, if you don't do this, you are going to die and your kids aren't going to have a mom.
Yeah, then of course you listen.
You say, okay, I don't care if I lose my hair. I don't care if I lose my boobs. Like, this is going to be terrifying, but like, I want to be here.
I want to be here for my kids.
Yeah. They're like, your hair will grow back and all this stuff. Right. And I'm like, okay. Like, I literally like didn't even push back at all. I was just like, I'm going to get through this and I'm going to be here for my kids. So, horrific treatment, horrific, like red devil chemo. And I went from this like epitome of health to being so sick. And I was so healthy that I can't even imagine how other people feel when they have all of these drugs in them, because I knew so much about blood sugar stabilization and like what fasting can do and making sure I was nourishing with healthy foods. They didn't have a bunch of crap in them when I wasn't throwing up from chemo, obviously.
Okay, so what was first though?
Chemo.
So you did chemo before a double mastectomy?
Yes, because they were like, we want to try and shrink your tumor so that we can save your like breast tissue. Maybe we can do a lumpectomy, which it's so hard for me because a lot of people like vilify Western medicine, and I really want to make sure that I do not do that, because I genuinely, again, think that they're doing the best they can, given what they have to work with, right?
Yeah.
And I think they really do like want to help, but they can only prescribe certain things. They can only like say certain things. And, there's the Hippocratic Oath that they take that says like, I will do no harm. But now I think the Hippocratic Oath subconsciously has changed to, I'm going to try to not get sued the best that I can.
Yep.
And that's not even, again, their fault. That's just like the nature of the system right now.
Yep.
Which I didn't like believe. I didn't really have any experience with this because I had never really been in the hospital or like the medical system. I just had my babies and then I took my health into my own hands from there.
Well, and I said this on your podcast. I was saying people do make the Western medicine look really bad, but then people make the Eastern medicine look really bad as well. And I had said this, that I wish that we would take the good in both and combine them together.
Yes.
And that's where true health, I think, comes in, because there is amazing research and things that have been done in the
Absolutely.
Western. But they don't really look at preventative care and, things like that, where the Eastern side does. And if we put them together,
Yeah.
I think we'd have a healthy America, but that's a whole nother topic.
Absolutely.
Because you did lean more towards the Eastern on the second round of cancer. So we'll get to that. So keep going.
Yeah. So I always like to call myself now a hybrid healer because I mean, my brother had a brain tumor for 13 years and he was at Huntsman and like he should not have been alive. Like Huntsman was incredible, right? I also think that there was a big spiritual aspect to that nobody really likes to talk about. But you know, he had a near-death experience where he left his body in brain surgery and was an angel literally asked him if he wanted to come back, and he said yes.
Wow.
So he was supposed to die in that brain surgery and miraculously didn't, and then miraculously lived. And so, and like there is totally a place for Western, but we need more of a hybrid approach because when I was asking about nutrition to my oncologist, he's like, we're just getting through this, whatever you feel like eating. And what I felt like eating was cheeseburgers because my body was so depressed I didn't care anymore, like, and my tongue was burned off and like
you tell somebody that and they're gonna go eat McDonald's, Doritos, and Diet Coke all day long.
I was like, F it, whatever, like all of these things that I had done for health like don't even matter, you know.
I hear stories like that and that drives me crazy because again, do the Western protocols, but let's throw in the Eastern stuff of the nutritious diet and trying to use movement and sleep and all the alternative healing things that are out there.
Yeah. Well, and even like I fasted because of some research that I had read about fasting for preventing healthy cells from getting as impacted. And so on the chemo days, I would fast and then I would do the chemo and I recovered a lot faster.
Oh,
and
interesting.
Like I was working out 3 days later and, you know, I was wearing a blood sugar monitor and I was trying to implement things that I had learned from Dr. Bickman through my treatment. And, you know, I was cold plunging and I was doing breath work because I knew about like the immunity things that way. And even my radiologist was like, if I didn't know that if I wasn't your radiologist, I would not have known that you had radiation because you don't have any burns.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I stabilized my blood sugar and I know about like how to recover and, you know, and I cold plunge. And so
you were doing those Eastern things.
Yes. And like by the time radiation happened, I was like, okay, like I'm going to try to repair as much as possible. But chemo is just like horrific.
So how many months of chemo?
I started in April and I ended in August. So it was a big chunk of time. So you do 4 rounds of the Red Devil chemo and then you take a break to recover it for a second. And then you do 12 rounds of Taxol, which is like the, you know, the better one. But that's when I got super duper depressed. And now after talking to you on my podcast, I'm like, I bet you I was so deficient
in vitamins. B vitamins.
Yeah, because they were like, this is the easier one. And I was so depressed. Like, and they were giving me Lupron and Letrozole, which are just gnarly and they shut down your ovaries. And I was like literally the happiest person to the most suicidal person. And
well, they were messing with your hormones though too.
Yeah.
Because you need your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone to all be balanced. I mean, in a certain ratio to really feel your best.
Yeah. And then to deal with that, they're like, hey, let's go send you to do ketamine treatments. I don't know why you're so depressed. My medications don't make you depressed. I'm like, what are you talking about, cutie?
Wow.
Yes, they do. Like,
well, chemo just is like taking you to near death almost.
Yeah. And it
killing
was
so many good cells. I mean, we could do a whole show on that.
Yeah. It's like, so it like my body, even still thinking about it.
PTSD.
Yeah, like I just got like a gag reflex. It's so crazy.
I'm sorry. We'll move on.
No, I don't care. I think that the body's so fascinating that it holds on to that.
Yeah.
Which is like, again, look at the emotional impact that the body's still carrying. So chemo, and then I did my double mastectomy after that. So during chemo, I had a really great response. They said, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go get a lumpectomy now because that's what they promised me. If I did this first, we could shrink everything and hopefully not have to do such a big surgery. But then we go to the surgeon and it's like the maximum amount of treatment there too. You know what? Let's just do a double mastectomy. And at that point, I was like, whatever, because chemo was so horrific. Like, I don't want to do this again.
Right.
And so like, whatever, just like take them. But then it was like, you know, we'll do a nipple sparing one. And then they sent it to pathology and said, oh, there were pinpoints of cancer behind your nipples, so we're going to have to take those. And it was just like, freaking heck, you know? So that surgery, and then you wait a little bit and then you do radiation after that. So I did 20 rounds of radiation. And I did a little bit higher dose because I wanted to finish all of my radiation before the new year so that my insurance wouldn't get hit. And so normally people do about 30, but I just did 20 with a little bit higher, it turned up a little bit more on this side. So then I did reconstruction. And then after that, you're like, yay, I've done everything. And then your oncologist says, oh, by the way, you have 10 years of systemic therapy. It's 10 years of horrific drugs. They're Lupron, which is like it shuts down your ovaries, and it was giving me gnarly side effects, like psychotic side effects.
Interesting.
So crazy. And these are on label and they don't tell you. And then I was talking to my oncologist and saying, like, I feel very crazy and depressed and like I don't want to be here anymore. And you know, he's like, well, those aren't from my medications. Like, so go do ketamine. You know? Wow. So then I started ketamine to deal with that. And like, it was just crazy. So about a year into the systemic therapy.
Wait, before you get to that, can I go back on this first round of cancer? So when you had the double mastectomy, are you still bald from chemo?
Mm-hmm.
And so you lose feminine parts, you're bald.
Yeah.
I know from, I'm going to cry. Having my sister go through it, it was emotionally and mentally hard. As a woman.
I just felt like I didn't have any beauty or value anymore. Like I was just a body that like somebody could make money on, and like they didn't care about if I felt insecure or if I felt depressed or whatever. I was super self-conscious to be around my husband. I was like super worried that, you know, I didn't have any value anymore outside of my beauty, which like that can be a whole other podcast, but it's just so emotionally like traumatic to have everything like feminine about you ripped away, and you feel like you can't say no to it. Does that make sense?
It does. And I feel like we don't talk very often about first the fear that cancer patients go through.
Yeah.
So you have the fear, then your femininity is like taken from you.
Yeah.
And you feel of no worth, then your hormones are a mess and your nutrients are low, and so people are dealing with depression. Like we never really talk about the mental toil that women go through with this. It's always just the cancer and, are you getting better or do you still have cancer?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's like the pink warrior, right? And it's like, oh my gosh, you did it. Like you got through chemo. I think chemo, like you start out relatively healthy. Chemo wrecks you. And then after you don't ever really get replenished. And so it gets worse and worse and worse and worse after that. And so I've talked to so many people that like after they ring the bell, then they have this like life that's totally broken and there's no support. No one's talking about it. And so they're like, I must just be, it must be a me problem.
Oh man.
It is so traumatic. And then you have the emotional PTSD, right? Because you're just kind of in fight or flight, like, let's go, let's get through it. Chemo, let's do it. I'm going to do this. Yeah, pink warrior. Everybody's cheering you on. And then they're like, she did it.
She did it. Now they're gone. Now I've got to deal with the hormones, the depression, the nutrients.
Mm-hmm. So after that, they start you on 3 different drugs. One of them's called Verzenio for me. And the main side effect was diarrhea all day. And
wow.
They said I couldn't eat vegetables anymore because it was too hard on the digestive tract.
And then vegetables are what are full of the nutrients that heal the cells.
I was like, excuse me? I can't, right? So that just like didn't sit well with me as like somebody that loves nutrition. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
so it doesn't make any sense.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the Lupron letrozole. And so about a year into that, I was so depressed and I had so much anxiety. I stopped eating because I was so scared of ingredients because I was so like, and I didn't really realize what I was doing, but I got scared to clean. I got scared to get ready. I got scared to bathe. I got totally, and like mentally I just broke and I didn't really realize I was doing it. I would like start having panic attacks at the grocery store because I felt like I was killing my children when I would buy food because I felt like there wasn't anything healthy that I could didn't have like bad ingredients, right? Because when you get diagnosed, you become so like
hyper focused is what everyone tells me.
Yes, and like I'm gonna do everything that I can so that I like don't have to deal with this anymore because chemo's so horrific, right?
Yeah.
And but now again, after talking to you on my podcast, I'm like, oh my gosh, I did not realize like the B vitamin thing. I 100% do not absorb B vitamins. My sister had already done that test and said, guys, we don't absorb B vitamins very well. I didn't even.
Oh yeah, because we were talking about the MTHFR gene variation on your or variant on your podcast.
Yes. And so I just ordered yours and I'm like, that makes so much sense. And it's interesting, like the things that I crave, they all have to do with B vitamins.
B vitamins. Interesting.
It's so fascinating. I'm like, the body's so cool.
So what's so sad to me about all of this is that there's no one teaching them the nutrition side or how to take care of their body during the chemo, during the radiation, the after effects, during the other medications that they need to take. There's no one showing or talking about the nutrition. But then again, like you said, the doctors are doing their best. My dad was a doctor and he's like, Carlin, I never had a nutrition class in my life.
No,
like
totally.
They just taught you the basics of if you don't have enough vitamin C, this happens. You know, if you eat gluten, this can happen. It was never a nutrition class.
Yeah, it was never a root cause class, right? It was never like, there's something deficient. What foods do you need to like, right? It's not about that. It's about treating the symptom. Like, okay, we have cancer. How do we get rid of that? Okay. Like, I don't really care what's happening with Carli mentally or physically. Like, I'm looking at like, is this tumor going away?
They're not looking at the body as a whole.
No, they're not even looking at the soul.
Yeah. There's the mental aspect of it, just the physical aspect.
I'm like, I'm having an existential crisis. Do you care? Nope. I'm just like, nope. We're not going to even bring that in, you know?
Yeah. So a year later, you're dealing with this terrible depression.
So I said so I remember I was like crying to my husband and I was like, I literally was like, I was driving around trying to find a wall to crash my car into. It was every day being terrified and wanting to kill myself every moment. My body was so done. And you know me.
I was going to say, I know that feeling.
Yeah. And you know me too, right?
You're a happy, fun person.
Yeah. And that feeling was so terrifying to be in. Like and it was months, Carlin. It was months. Every moment wanting, fantasizing.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Because I know, I'm going to cry. Because I know that feeling. I've been there. So I can relate.
I felt like nobody cared.
I was same.
There was no answer.
Because they don't understand it until they've been in it.
And I was like still like trying to do the mom thing and trying to do the business thing. And like, you know, it was awful. It was horrific.
That is terrible.
And so I told my oncologist, I was like, listen, I'm like, my husband and I have decided, like, I want to kill myself now on these medications. Like, I have to get off of them. I wish I could do standard of care. I wish it would work for me. It's not working.
It's not working.
I don't know what to do. I'm either going to kill myself or the cancer's going to kill me. And honestly, I remember praying and just being like, okay, God, like, if you want to take me, like, I'm done. I'm done fighting. Like, I have not messed around with my body. I love my body so much. I have honored my body. I've respected it. Like, and if this is your plan for me, then, like, so be it. But where are you?
Oh, wow.
Like, where are you? I remember screaming at God and saying, and like, where the freak are you? And, like, the real F word, which I don't even do. Like, personality-wise, I was completely different.
Yeah.
Like, you take somebody's nutrition, you take somebody's autonomy over their body, like they don't act like themselves.
No.
You take their hormones away.
Their hormones. I'm telling you, the hormones a mess and you become a whole different person.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And they're like, what? You know, so anyway, so I got off the medications and I started to feel like myself. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. I started to eat again. I started to like, you know, just have kind of like some rational like hope and like my it's almost like that prefrontal cortex came online. Like my my rational part of my brain, and the one that could like look forward to the future and feel hope came back online. And then I was doing something called a Signatera test, and Signatera is amazing. If anybody doesn't know about this, you need to know about this now, because it can prevent a bunch of radiation and a bunch of the toxicity that comes from PET scans. So they basically just do a blood test, and they look for any DNA of your original tumor that's in your blood now. So they have it's so cool, and they can do it every month, and it's a blood test.
Oh, wow.
That's it. And it's more accurate than a PET scan.
Oh, interesting.
It detects it earlier. So they get your original tumor, they look at the DNA, and then they're like, okay, this is what the tumor DNA looks like. This is Carli's blood now. Do we have any that matches? We do. Okay, that means she's having a reoccurrence. So I had negative Signatera tests for a couple months after I had gotten off all of those medications. And then all of a sudden I had a positive one, and it jumped from a 0 to there is 51 molecules per milliliter of that circulating tumor DNA. So I was just doing blood tests, and then I was like, when I saw the jump in my Signatera test, I was like, oh, I'm sure it's like not a big deal, like, because I just did all of these all this treatment, like it can't be that big of a deal, you know?
Because you had just gone through the whole treatment plan and gotten negative test after negative test.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, like
it jumped a little bit.
So I went into my oncologist, and he was kind of like, I told you so. You shouldn't have gotten off these medications.
Oh.
And I was like, what? What do you mean? Like and he was like, no, we need to order you a PET scan. Like, we're going to see something on the PET scan, like a tumor. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I just did all of that treatment, horrific treatment for years. I even did a year of your systemic therapy, and it's already back? Yeah. Like, what? You know? So I get a PET scan, and sure enough, there were 2 spots in my body that showed up on my PET scan, and they were in my spinal bones and in my spinal bone and pelvic bone.
Okay, can I just ask you, at that moment, I think I would be so mad and be like, okay, God, take me.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I said. I was defeated. I had nothing left. And I was so done fighting, and I felt like my life, like I didn't even have a life anymore. I was just like a body that somebody like could make money on or put medications in.
I'd be so mad. Like, I'm not going through that hell again.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that chemo and radiation again.
Absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. And so when I went into, after that Signatera test had jumped, my oncologist had already ordered all of those medications that I worked so hard to get off of. They were waiting for me at the office.
Wow.
And I was like, I am not getting on those again. Like, I was so suicidal. I'm finally feeling hope again. What?
Did he understand that at all?
Yes. Like, I was like,
did he know that other patients have like deal with the suicidal part of it?
I think that I'm really vocal, and I'm super duper open, clearly. Like, I think that I was the one that was speaking the most, and was like, hey, like maybe I had such an understanding of my body before because I loved it so much, and I was super into, you know, my mental health and everything. And I understood how much of an impact nutrition and working out had on it. Not as much as I do now after our podcast, but I think that I was the one that was the most vocal, because when I would go talk to my friends that were going to my same oncologist about it, I'm like, hey, I'm like really suicidal and I'm having this. They were like, oh, absolutely. And my husband and I always talk about my mood swings. And
so you were speaking for thousands of women is what you were doing.
And he would say, I don't know, you're the only one that's experiencing this. I don't really know why you're having these. And I was like, so then I felt super isolated. Like maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just crazy.
Wow. No, you were speaking up for all the women.
Yeah. And so I get my PET scan results, and my oncologist is like, so how are you feeling about the PET scan the second time? And I was like, well, I'm just happy it's not stage 4, right? Because I saw it was like a little spot in my spine and then a little spot in my pelvis, in my bones though. And he was like, well, Carli, I have to disagree with you. It is stage 4. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what? I was so confused why this was such a big deal. And he's like, you have something that's called oligo, oligo stage 4, which means that your cancer is so smart and it has learned how to get into your bloodstream, and it has deposited, it's almost like blowing a dandelion in your bloodstream of little cancer cells, like all over your body, and they're just waiting to grow.
Wow.
And I'm like,
I'd be confused, I'd be frustrated, and again, a loss of hope.
oh yeah. And so I looked at him and he was like, okay, so we're getting you on Lupron. I have Carli ready to go, right? These like gnarly medications. You don't have a life on them. You really don't. And or at least I didn't. And so he was like, this is our treatment plan, you know? And I looked at him and I said, I can't get on those. And so I looked at my husband and I started crying and I said, I'm going to be an amazing angel on the other side for our family.
Oh.
I'm going to be the best angel, and I'm going to have I'm going to.
Oh, you're making me cry.
I know. And I was like, I'm going to do such a good job for our family. And I was like, you know, I'll be there every birthday and I'll be happy. And I'll be like,
Carli, I can't.
I'm like, so that was my plan. I wasn't going to do any treatment. I was just like, okay, God, I guess this is like, I'm done fighting, you know, thank you. And also, this is also an important part of the story. My brother, his brain tumor had started growing, and he had decided at this point to stop treatment.
Oh boy.
So bless my mom's heart. 2 of her kids are dying of cancer right now.
Oh my gosh.
And mine was supposed to be like the easy one. That was, you know, like, you're just going to get through treatment. You're going to do all of our drugs. You're going to do our protocol. You're going to do standard of care. You're going to be fine. And
I need to interview your mom.
That's
torturous to have 2 kids
100%.
at the same time.
Oh, it's like.
With that diagnosis.
Yes. And when I tell you the ending result of it too, like, we have to just give a shout out to God, and like anybody listening to this, honestly, like, this moment here has been so curated, and I just feel like, for me personally, I feel like God is like mad at what is going on with our healthcare right now, because I feel like so many people are praying and saying like, why have you forsaken me? And he's like, oh, it's this, like, there's all of this stuff that's going on, right?
I haven't, but the stuff that's affecting your physical health feels like I'm forsaking you.
It's almost like when I went into treatment, there was like this bubble of black that like surrounded me, and God couldn't get through. Like,
interesting.
There wasn't, it was like the body became so loud, and there was so much toxic stuff in me that like God couldn't get through.
Interesting.
That's what it felt like. And so it's like, he was like,
and I can relate to that with the depression.
Yes.
Because I was going to church and reading my scriptures and doing the things I was supposed to do, but my body just couldn't function properly, and it showed up in depression.
Yes, it was like your body's speaking, right? It's just really speaking loudly, like, hey, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And I think that the body is so smart, and it's just like doing the best it can.
It just shows that our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health all are in one, and we can't separate them.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, keep going.
So I know, sorry, my story's so long, but so I was like, hey, I'm just gonna die. Like, and he's like, I'm like, what's my prognosis? And he's like, 2 years. And I'm like, cool. Okay. So I was like, 2 years. But then the magic started to happen, and the good news started to happen. But it's almost like I had to be brave and say, and listen to my body and say, I can't do that. I can't do those medications. I really want to. Like, I don't want to die. Like, I want to do it, but I can't. And it, like, when I was brave and when I said no, and when I started to listen to myself, that's when all of the beautiful miracles started to happen. So I went to my radiologist, and I was like, he's like, I can do radiation, 3 rounds targeted with these little spots that are in your spine and in your pelvis, and we can blast them away. But you know, if you don't get on these drugs that your oncologist wants you to get on, like, it really won't matter. Like, we'll do a PET scan, and then there'll just be more because of the nature of where it's showing up.
Wow.
And they also said basically that my cancer was probably resistant to chemo and chemo anyway.
Oh, goodness.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?" They're like, "Yeah, well, because like we hit it with the red devil,
The red devil.
and if the red devil didn't prevent it from getting in your bones, then it was already in your."
Wow.
And I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
So again, more things to just lose hope.
Yeah, I was like, so I love my radiologist. I really like, he has a lot of like hope, and he's like really spiritual, and he's just amazing. And he was like, "Carli, I want you to be here when you're a grandma." So my oncologist is like, "You're going to die in 2 years." And he's like, "I want you to be here when you're a grandma."
And it plays with your mental health and like your
Yes.
hope and your fighting, like your will to
Yes.
fight.
Yes.
Wow.
And so, and he's like, "I can do targeted radiation, 3 rounds." And I'm like, radiation was like a piece of cake for me. So sure. So it was like an hour, it was an hour and a half each round, and super targeted on those 2 spots, and 3 days, and that's it. And I felt a little bit of nausea because, you know, they're putting a laser through your stomach, which they didn't do that the first time because it was all here. And it is also important to note that it is still breast cancer, even though it was in my bones. So even though it's in my spine and in my pelvis, still breast cancer, same diagnosis, same cancer.
Because it originated in the breast.
Yeah. So it just pushed through all the lymph nodes, got into my bloodstream, deposited everything everywhere. So I was like, "Hey, my plan is," so I switched oncologists, and I was like, I got this like little spark, and I was like, "I'm gonna start taking my body into my own hands and my treatment into my own hands, because I did everything that they told me, and it came back anyways. And so if I'm going to die, I'm not doing any more treatment that I don't want to do." And
I could see that reasoning.
yeah, imagine.
Yeah.
Crazy of me. What? So I was like, I will do radiation because radiation was easy for me. And then one of the drugs that they had me on, Lupron, was so gnarly. And we started to do some research about this Lupron drug, and TK Pharmaceuticals is the company that makes it. And there were all of these lawsuits about people that were like me, that had gnarly suicidal ideations and like all of these side effects, went to sue TK Pharmaceuticals. And they got dismissed on procedural rounds, which means you didn't file this in time, so you don't have a case. It's not, we're going to fight this and we're going to show that actually our drug is fine. It is 100%. They just squashed all of these
Imagine
patients.
That.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
And then there were also a bunch of lawsuits about TK Pharmaceuticals paying doctors to prescribe Lupron when patients like didn't really need it. And the way that they were administering it, they were teaching them how to make more money on it. And it's like,
so is it still prescribed today?
Yes, to a lot of people. I bet you a lot of people listening to this are on Lupron. If you're dealing with infertility, if you're dealing with any kind of cancer that's hormone driven, like prostate cancer, they use Lupron. Like my friend was on Lupron for she was doing like infertility treatments, like she was doing an IUI and she had to be on Lupron for something. I didn't deal with fertility issues, so I don't know what they use it for that, but it is in infertility treatments. And so Lupron is like, I'm supposed to be on Lupron right now.
For 10 years.
For 10 years.
Yeah.
It's so gnarly. And so TK Pharmaceuticals has been like, you know, bribing doctors. I think it's a Japanese company. And so there are all of these documented cases, but they're being squashed and nobody's talking about them.
Oh boy.
So I was like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy, because I had all of it's an on-label side effect. These like psychotic episodes, you can be like, they were like, maybe Carli's bipolar, all of this stuff. No, it was an on-label side effect of Lupron that finally one of my psychiatrists was like, why does your oncologist say this isn't affecting you? It's literally one of the first things that it pops up from the psychiatrist perspective is Lupron creates crazy psychotic effects.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's so annoying. So
no, listeners are like, okay, how are you still here?
I know. I'm so sorry. I have so many like details about it. Okay, so I was like, in order to be off of Lupron, I can get an ovarectomy, because what Lupron is doing is it's suppressing my ovaries, and my estrogen was feeding my cancer, because my cancer was estrogen fed. So I'm like, I'm gonna do a hysterectomy and an ovarectomy to not be on Lupron. So I was just gonna do those 2 things. I was gonna do a little bit of radiation and then my hysterectomy and just take my chances. Then I called one of my friends and I said, hey, I just got my second diagnosis. It's not good. It's stage 4. I'm going to die in 2 years. And I'm if that happens, just make sure that my husband marries somebody that's really cool. Set him up with somebody that's really cool. And I was like crying. And she's like, okay, Carli, we're not going there yet. Randomly, I'm on Twitter and all of these articles are being sent to me about something called fenbendazole and ivermectin. Have you heard of that? And I said, well, I heard of ivermectin from President Trump, but from COVID. And she's like, I'm just going to start sending them to you. And again, I've heard every cancer cure. You have too with your sister, like everything, right? And so I was like, okay, whatever. So she started sending me all the articles. Then somebody else was like, hey, I want you to go over to this person's house. They have all these anti-canceral things, like, you know, certain machines that whatever. So I was like holding this machine that had a light rod that was supposed to get rid of my cancer. But then they brought up ivermectin and fenbendazole when I was at their house. And they're like, are you taking that? And I said, I actually just heard about that for the first time like a week ago. And they're like, well, we have it upstairs. Do you want to take it? And I was like, I mean, sure. And they're like, if you don't take it with us, you're not going to take it because it's actually a horse medication that you can get on Amazon. And it's a paste. And I was like, what is happening? Am I in the Twilight Zone right now? Like, okay, I'm going to die in 2 years. Put some paste in my mouth, I guess, you know? So, so they give it to me and I start taking it and I'm like, this is bizarre, but whatever. And then again, another week later, we're talking about God, right? God showed up for me so big. My mom was like, Carli, my friend wanted me to tell you about this supplement that her brother took that got rid of his prostate cancer. He's writing a book about it right now. I know we don't like to even bring up cancer things anymore because of my brother and because of me. We've heard them all, right? And she's like, but she just wanted me to tell you. And I'm like, well, what's the name? And she's like, it's called fenbendazole. And I'm like,
and you're like, oh my gosh, 3 times in like a couple weeks time.
I'm like, Mom, I'm actually taking that right now. And she was like, what? She's like, okay, you need to talk to this person. His name's Roger Rasmussen. You should probably interview him too. And he is literally writing the book on how he was supposed to get his prostate out. And he took this protocol with fenbendazole and with certain supplements to make sure that it got into the bloodstream and everything. And he avoided surgery. And it's the real deal. And he's writing the book with all the studies. And I'm like,
interesting.
So I get on the phone with Roger, and he is the one that's like, if you're not taking it with supplements and with fat, it's not going to work. So many times people will say, I've tried fenbendazole and ivermectin, but it doesn't absorb properly, which you probably understand so much about absorption. And so he added in the different layers of supplements, which is curcumin, vitamin E, and a CBD tincture and fat. And so you have to take it like that, or else it just goes through your system too fast. And
okay, so is this a drink you take then, or like you mix it all in a tincture?
So I get a tincture from my favorite local company. It's called Bee's Knees, and I'll send you all the links. You can link it in the show notes. It's the real deal. And then just normal supplements, curcumin, the pill, and then vitamin E, the pill, and then the fenbendazole is now a pill, but it's for dogs.
Okay.
It says on the website like this is for dogs unless you get a prescription for it.
Okay.
But fenbendazole is a dog medication. It's an amazing medication. They use it for humans all the time, but there's a lot of red tape around it in America, which is just fascinating. And then originally I was taking like this horse paste. And so I will take, a drink and then squirt the horse paste in my mouth and swallow it so I don't taste it.
So the ivermectin is the horse paste.
Yeah.
Don't they have ivermectin pills?
Yes. So now I've switched to the ivermectin pills, but you need a prescription a lot of times to make sure that it's like a good one. Obviously, like you can get them from India and stuff like that, but the one that I take now is like it's from a legit pharmacy, and we actually found a nurse practitioner that was willing to prescribe it for me. So after talking to Roger, I take the protocol every single day, and I'm doing the paste and a dog pill at this point, and then the supplements and olive oil for fat. And I go to my PET scan. And my radiologist was very, very scared to see the PET scan because I hadn't done any of the systemic therapy. And my brother had actually just died right before this. Bless his heart.
Oh, so sorry.
I
I
know.
knew he had passed away.
Yeah,
So sad.
he had been fighting for so long, and his brain tumor started to grow again, and he was like, I can't do any more chemo. I'm done. And so I told him, I said, Eddie, when you're on the other side, I need you to help me with my cancer because mom cannot have 2 kids that die of cancer. She can't. And he's like, okay, little sis, I'll do the best that I can.
Oh,
so sweet.
So sweet.
He's my angel. So ironically, my PET scan to see if my radiation had worked was the day before my brother's funeral, the day before.
Oh, jeez.
And it was suspected to show more cancer everywhere because I hadn't done any systemic therapy.
Right.
And so I go in there and there was this like kind of like deep knowing in me that I was going to be okay just because of how this fenbendazole and ivermectin protocol came into my life. And I genuinely was not looking for it. I was like, God, fine, I guess you want me to die. I was angry.
Right.
I was like, I've done everything. Are you kidding me? And now my brother's dying. Like, what is, like, God's not real, you know, before that.
Oh,
and
I'd be so mad.
I was so mad. And so I walk into the PET scan and I'm like, I just kind of knew. I was like, I felt my brother with me. I heard his voice actually like come into my head when I was on the PET scan table, and he like would make fun of me for taking a horse paste. And so he was like, hey, like, I swear to you. And I started laughing on the table, but I just kind of knew that I was going to be okay because of the research that I had done and like the synchronicities of how it came into my life. And so my radiologist comes in and he pops my scan up and he's like, it's perfect. And he goes, are you doing any systemic therapy? And I was like, I'm not. And he's like, I was so nervous to see your scan all day. I was so nervous when I heard that you were coming in.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I wasn't. And then I've gotten another one 3 months later and it's still perfect. I have nothing.
So you're completely
cancer free, but they will never say that because I will always be stage 4 because of the nature of my cancer. But
they won't ever claim that you're cancer free.
No, I will always be stage 4.
Why is that?
Because
you didn't do their protocol?
Because I didn't do their protocol. So they said, I don't like to play God. So I don't say.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, yeah, you don't. And God does like to play God. And here it's a dog dewormer. Thank you. But I have continued to take it. And now I'm documenting it online. And now other people are getting clean scans and coming to me. Like I've interviewed about 5 people that have found me on Instagram, done the protocol that I did with Roger, the guy who wrote Finding Fenbendazole, the book, and now they're getting clean scans.
You are literally a walking miracle. A walking miracle. And when we say like mad at God and frustrated, he didn't forsake you.
No, he was like, it's almost like he was mad with me at what was going on. Does that make sense?
Yes. All the people telling you about it connected at the right time for you to be healed.
Yes.
And now for you to go help others.
Yes.
Okay, so you get this clean scan though, and you're taking a horse paste. So
Yes.
people, and that's an anti-parasitic drug.
Yes.
So was this due to parasites? Why?
Okay, that's a really, really good question because there are some theories that cancer is actually just a parasite, right? And a lot of people in the like naturopathic schools of thought will say, oh, this is just a parasite. But I don't know if that's true, but I do know that what happens when you take these antiparasitic drugs is they actually work the exact same way as, let me just do that again. That's a really good question. So a lot of people will say, oh, cancer is a parasite, and that is a theory. What I know from Roger Rasmussen's book is that when you take these antiparasitic medications, you have a cancer cell that looks like this, and there are these roads that feed it so that it grows, right? And creates like more replication and tumor growth. And when you take these antiparasitics, it goes in and it cuts off the roads that feed the cancer cell, and then the cancer cells shrivel up and die because they cannot get any more nutrients. And so if it's a parasite or if it is doing what the body does to get rid of parasites when it takes these medications, like the mechanism is the same for how it gets rid of the cells. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's interesting because I think there's a misconception maybe out there because people will say like, because parasite cleanses are really trendy right now. And I've heard people say like, I'm doing it as like a cancer preventative measure.
Yes.
So
I'm like, I don't know. I mean, there maybe cancer is a parasite. I don't know, but it seems like from the research that I've done that cancer cells have pathways and the antiparasitic drugs go in and they cut off the pathways that the cancer gets fed with, and that is how the cancer dies and isn't able to replicate anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Which is a lot better. But also, I think at the parasite cleanses, you're probably doing a lot of, apoptosis with like fasting, and you're taking certain things that are probably good for your blood sugar depending on the thing that you're doing. And so that's obviously good for preventing, cell growth that isn't good just from the apoptosis perspective, but I'm pretty sure that it's how they're getting fed. Do you know how they even discovered this though? This is so fascinating.
Protocol of using these?
Yes.
No, tell us.
Okay, so there was this breeder and he was breeding mice for lab research, and there was a parasite outbreak in his lab, and so he had to give all of the mice fenbendazole. And he sent the mice off to the lab that was going to be injecting them with tumors to do cancer research, and the tumors wouldn't grow.
Interesting.
And so the researchers called the breeder and they were like, why aren't these tumors growing in these mice that you gave us? And he was like, I have no idea, but we had a parasite like outbreak, and so I had to give all of the mice fenbendazole. And so in this study, and this is a real study, in the study they were like, the mice couldn't grow the tumors, so fenbendazole might be something to look into to prevent tumor growth. And that was it.
Oh, wow. And has anything really been done with it? Probably not.
There aren't really clinical trials yet because, again, it's like an out-of-patent medication, so nobody really has the incentive to do the research.
Oh, that
But
makes
the
sense.
veterinarians are the ones that have been seeing that this gets rid of cancer because they're the ones that use it, because it's like,
That's fascinating.
yeah. And so like, their animals would get parasites and they have to deworm them, and so you can go down to Tractor Supply and get the horse paste, and that's what I was doing. Now I've switched to a pill to make it a lot more to make it a lot easier, but that's how they discovered it.
This is crazy.
It's, you guys, I thought, am I in the Twilight Zone right now when I was putting this horse paste in my mouth? But it is the real deal. And ivermectin's a Nobel Prize winning medication. It's not like it's, just for animals. It's just like we're not using it for humans the way that other countries and other people do.
Which that could be its own episode because
Right.
of everything that went on with that and COVID.
I know.
But
it's so fascinating. So maybe we'll have to do more of these, because I feel like I don't have any agenda. This is just my story, and I do feel like there's an obligation to share my story because it's getting other people clean scans. And I think that so many times people will, like you said in the beginning, they'll go against Western medicine, and that's not what I want to do. And ivermectin and mebendazole. Mebendazole is the human form of the antiparasitic drug. Those are still drugs, right? They're still Western medicine. And in order to make them work, you have to put them with the like all natural, like the olive oil with the polyphenols and then the vitamin E and the curcumin. You have to bring both worlds together.
I love that.
Isn't that fascinating?
It is bringing the Western and the Eastern together, and God in it also, though, because the whole story is a miracle.
It really is. And I want to make sure that I'm giving credit where credit is due, because I was totally not looking for this and I was ready to die. And God said, nope. And he knew that I would not share it. And here we are sharing it together.
Well, he gave you a second chance of life and me a second chance at life.
He really did. And look, we're happy and we're powerful women, and we want to create more of those. And you guys, you can get this medication if you need to. You can get the medication on Amazon, and like that makes so much sense why people don't want it to come out. It's affordable.
And oh my goodness, I have so many questions.
I know, you guys. I'm like, we have to do like a 5-part series, but that is my story, and I'm still cancer free, and now I'm helping people. I'm not doing any systemic therapy. I'm not doing any hormone blockers. I'm just taking care of my liver, because it can be a little bit hard on the liver, supposedly, even though all the people that we've interviewed, that's not really happening. I'm focusing on detox, blood sugar, And I'm doing
We
the
need a-
ivermectin fenbendazole protocol, and I'm totally cancer-free.
It is incredible. I need a whole part 2 though of like everything you're doing though now, because I watch you
know.
online and you do like your coffee enemas and
Okay, I'm
you-
obsessed. Have you done one?
No, I've
I'm
yet to
coming
do
over
one.
to do one. You're healthy enough. You don't need to.
No.
But no, it's amazing. You feel so good.
Because people are now going to want to know exactly what you're doing every day.
Yeah.
If you're stressed about your food and what you eat, so many things that I know people are going to
I
want to know
know.
what you're doing now to stay healthy and to stay cancer free. So,
Yes.
are you going to take this protocol, the ivermectin
Mm-hmm.
and the
Fenbendazole.
fenbendazole, for the rest of your life?
So that's kind of so Roger and I we have a cancer group right now. It's called the Cancer Crew, where we like talk about this and we do podcasts, or we do like live calls and everything, because a lot of my content has been shut down.
Oh,
If I even
that
say
makes
the
sense.
words, like not really say the words, because I was pretty open about it, but if I but it's interesting. It's like, you know, I have these reels that talk about it and they're being shared like crazy, and then all of a sudden they stop growing, and I'm like, that's so fascinating. And then, you know, TikTok completely shut down some of our posts with the Cancer Crew. Like they took them down when we talked about a dog dewormer saving a man's life.
Yeah, they will take that stuff down.
Yeah.
And
so
they'll take stuff down about ivermectin. They'll take stuff down about cancer. So that's hard to do on social media.
Yeah. And I didn't want to believe that this was true, you guys. I wanted to just believe that like we were in a good world, that like everybody's just great and they're doing the best they can and they have good intentions, right? But then all of a sudden I started to experience the reality of, you know, the healthcare system and everything. And I was not one of those people. Like I was not like that, you know? And so now Roger and I just say we're in no man's land and we're going to see. But all I do is I track my liver enzymes and I make sure that I'm doing detoxing practices for my liver. And then,
which could be a whole episode, because people are going to ask, what are you doing?
Yes. I love it. I mean, maybe we just also could do a bunch of content together where I come over and make you do a coffee enema.
I know you're doing those.
They're actually
okay, but
so great.
Really quick, what are you doing for your liver?
So I have a liver support enzyme or a liver support supplement, which if you have a better one, I don't really love mine. What would you do?
Well,
like
we're in the process of making, we have our B complex that has like the milk thistle in it and the dandelion root in it to help with the liver, but we are in the process of making something.
So when that happens, take that, because that helps the liver detoxify. And I will do coffee enemas because I actually love them and they're really, really great. But again, do your own research. It's a very specific one. You can look at my Instagram. I've linked everything there. But you just have to track your liver enzymes. Honestly, if you're a healthy person, then your liver shouldn't be like really affected. That's just like the known side effect that everybody talks about, but I haven't really experienced that. With ivermectin, you can get little floaties in your eyes, but if you stop taking the ivermectin, then you won't get that side effect anymore. And then I don't know, I drink a lot of water and I intermittent fast and
still watch your blood glucose levels.
Yeah, I just love that. It's so easy to do.
And watch what you eat, or not like paranoid about it?
I'm not as paranoid about it because I believe that the body is so amazing and is capable of getting rid of the crap if you don't overwhelm it and if you give it breaks, right? So for me, fasting is so incredible and beautiful, and obviously avoiding as many toxins as you can. But if you can't avoid everything, then I believe that the body can get rid of it if you're supporting your liver and you're giving your body breaks from digestion. So for me, I think fasting is just super fascinating and super important. And then that's what I focus on mostly, is like, I believe that my body can get rid of and heal. Like, I believe it can get rid of toxins if I'm just allowing it a moment to not be overwhelmed with digestion. And I learned that a lot from Dr. Bickman, honestly. And just like his book really taught me a lot about how the body processes energy and gets rid of stuff.
Well, we could do a whole another episode, because I also know that you use positive affirmations a lot during it. You always, on your hardest day, would still tell what you love about that day, what you love about your body.
Yeah.
Like you
come what may and love it every day. Yeah. So I would get on my Instagram and I'd be like, okay, I know that my brain can find evidence of anything and make anything true, right? Like if I'm looking at Carlin and I'm studying her and I'm trying to find everything about her that is silver right now, okay, I can look and I can be like, okay, I'm focusing on that. Focusing on that. And then if I close my eyes and say, what color is are Carlin's, I don't know, shoes? Like if I wasn't looking at that, I wouldn't have the answer, but then I could look for that and find that answer. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so I always say, okay, if I were to operate under the assumption that this is perfect for my path and that God is involved, how could I love this situation if I had to? I don't want to, but if I could choose to do that, my brain will find evidence and will create that story that could be true for me. And so that's what I always did. Okay, I have had cancer 2 times and I love it because I actually just helped somebody avoid chemo. Her name's Charisse and she's amazing. She just got a clean PET scan from me and she didn't have to do chemo.
That's incredible.
And I love my 2 cancers for that. And like, what an amazing story and what an amazing calling in life, right? Like, that's so cool.
But you have such a good attitude about it. And I love that you're now taking this trial and helping so many people with it, but with such a good mindset. Okay, you're gonna come back and we'll do like mindset and energy and all the things that you're doing now on a daily basis to stay healthy.
Yes. But nutrition is a very big part of it, and get her B vitamins because I just started those and I'm so excited to have them.
Well, you are incredible.
You're incredible.
And I hope that we just get this message out there because there's so many people looking for an alternative route.
Yeah. And I wanted
looking for something that might help them heal.
And again, hybrid healing, right? Like I did do the radiation. And so just curate it within yourself. You can say no. You can say, hey, this is my body. I have autonomy. And make sure that you are listening to that beautiful like wisdom and consciousness within your body because it's so much smarter than anything that your oncologist can tell you, right?
And we've got to make it clear that we're not dissing on the radiation and the chemo. I mean, it saved my sister's life.
It saved my brother's life.
My sister's life. And so we're not saying that at all.
Yeah.
We're saying do the research. Go talk to multiple doctors. You don't have to just have one opinion. You can have multiple opinions. Talk to others that have gone through the same thing as you.
Yes.
See what they've done.
Yep.
Talk to some of these doctors who mix the alternative with the Western as they do it, like the high dose vitamin C and, these different alternative treatments. Find what's right for you. We're not saying that there's only one protocol that you should follow. So
yes, it's like a smorgasbord of good things, and you get to walk up to the table of all of this awesome food and pick which works for you.
Because every body is different and every cancer is different. So.
Absolutely.
Okay, on my podcast this season, I'm ending the show with just giving the guests 5 final questions.
Okay.
Really rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Okay, so what emerging health topic excites you most?
Ivermectin and fenbendazole, obviously. It's so fun.
What is a piece of advice you'd give to your younger self?
Oh, man. That your intuition really, really matters when it comes to your health. Like imperative, more important than what the doctors say. Listen to that.
Love that. Listen to your body. What's the one health practice you'll never compromise on no matter how busy life gets?
I only have to pick one. Probably fasting.
What's your favorite Just Ingredients product and why?
I am really excited about the B vitamins and the bone broth because I've seen what bone broth does to your blood sugar, and you finally have one that doesn't taste like chicken.
And tastes like the farm and manure.
Yes, I'm so excited for the vanilla. And so those 2 I am really, really excited about. So those are my favorites for now.
I love that. And last one, what do you think is the best ingredient to life?
Oh, what's the best ingredient to life? Breath.
I love that.
Right? There's a scripture that says like God breathed life into Adam, right? And like part of me feels like that's God for some reason. And like when you do breath work, all of a sudden you get this intuition that comes and you come into the world with a breath and you leave with a breath. And so part of me feels like that's our spirit. I don't know.
I love that.
Isn't that cool?
Because there isn't life without breath.
No.
And God is the granter of breath.
Yes.
And breath can be so healing.
Yes. Energy. And like, I think it's really, really fascinating to do that. Have you read the Breath book by James
I've skimmed through it.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. So that's a good one too.
Well, thank you so much for being on here. It's been incredible. We have to do a part 2 because I still have so many questions for you.
I feel like I talked so long, but my story is so important.
Your story is miraculous, and we want to get that story out there. So thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you
for being a strong and brave woman and helping others.
And thank you for your support. It really means the world to me. I'm like so grateful to be here. So
thank you.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us. Remember to keep it real.